Welcome back to 2022 GLIAC Media Day. Emory Hunt, the czar of the Linebacker, here with head football coach of Wayne State University, Paul Winters. Coach, thank you for stopping by, along with Myron Harris and Julius Wilkerson as well. Coach, I want to start off with your offensive line and the run game. Dominate and dominant. Do you feel like the way you guys run the football and how you guys approach the run game sort of helps set a team identity? Because I feel like your defense feeds off what you guys do offensively.
Well, I think that's the way we practice. I think that's the way we go into every situation, understanding that football is a physical game. And if you don't run the football, you can't be physical. And I think from a defensive perspective, it helps them to prepare as they play against us, being tough and physical.
I love the effort on defense. I feel like watching you guys play, you always see the defensive effort. And do you feel like this season the effort that you guys show on film can carry over to consistency from game to game and help you guys maybe sometimes win games with your defense?
I expect to win games with our defense. I think you have a first-team all-league linebacker. You have great expectation for him, and I think that he's surrounded by a lot of good football players that understand how important it is to run to the football and to play with great intensity. So that's what you should look for from us.
Julius, great segue, by the way, Coach. You got a future in this media thing. Running to the football and being active. And I just have to harken back to your initial start here. You redshirted. And a lot of guys come in now in high school, they want to play right away. That's what they see on Saturdays, right? But redshirting is super beneficial. How beneficial was that redshirt year for you to kind of help you springboard into the career that you've had so far at Wayne State?
Oh, it was great. Like, you had guys like Pittman, Ryan Smith, Leon Eggleston. You got to just learn under them. And then especially playing scout team, we had Israel. Like, I had to go out against him every day. I had to learn how to pass rush. I had to learn how to cover. It's just really beneficial just for the mind and the body to get bigger, stronger, and faster.
You talk about everything, mind, body, getting bigger, stronger, faster. On defense, when does things start to slow down for you guys? Because I feel like with tempo and pace and outside of that, trying to be physical up front, when does it slow down for you, especially at your position?
It really slows down for me when you just take a time to breathe. Like, obviously the offense is going to try to set their own pace, but as a defense, you want to set yours. Like, it doesn't matter if they go 2 minutes. It doesn't matter if they're kind of slow and huddling. You just, stick with your guns, know what to do, and just play the game.
Myra, you had a fantastic game where you had 327 yards, school record, and we call that being in the zone. And everyone throws that out there, but no one really explains what being in the zone feels or looks like from your perspective. So I'm going to let you wax poetically on what that means to you. While you're having that day, does things feel different?
Well, going there from the start, I could say from the locker room, as usual, you have guys that come up to you like, hey, like how you feeling? But Drake Reed, corner for Wayne State, he came up to me before the game and was like, A7, like how you feeling? And I was like, man, it's a career night. So I guess you could say that I called it, like before like it even happened, but just being in the zone, I think, like when you're out there and you're comfortable, playing your game and being you and then trusting, that the coach's going to call the right plays and, you doing the right thing and trusting everybody in the zone just comes with rhythm. Like, you know what I mean? Once you get that rhythm, and then you get that, moment that, everything just flows like water. So
You're speaking about flowing like water, and it also comes with understanding defenses and what they tend to do and try to do to stop the runner. Where were you at when you figured out fronts and figured out, okay, I know what this technique is trying to do. I know what this guy is trying to do. I can have a counter for their counter. When did that part start to happen for you?
Well, the way that I watch film is automatically different just from my background of being a quarterback. Last year was my third season being a running back, so I guess you could say I'm fairly new, but yeah, so, being a quarterback, understanding, like what a 4-3 is, what I'm saying? Like when a one technique is lined up in the opposite gap, what I'm saying? Running inside zone, especially to the, to that side, just little stuff like that, helped me mentally, be able to process things a lot faster and to comprehend, like, well, like if we run, like this play, then, this could happen. So just, being ahead of the game and being prepared and having that background plays a, like a big part in being prepared for that.
Coach, this is my first time in Detroit, Michigan. as we see it, really. And so this is also my first time, obviously, here at Wayne State. Beautiful facilities, beautiful campus. What makes Wayne State such a special place, in your opinion?
Well, I think there's a lot of different reasons that it's special. Number one, I think the people. From an athletic department standpoint, from our leader to the trainers and equipment managers, they all care. It's all important to them. They all try to put the players first. I think from a school perspective, the quality of education. When you come to Wayne State, you have to compete your rear end off. And I'm not just talking about from a football standpoint, but I'm talking about in order to excel in the classroom. So that makes it a pretty special place.
I want to ask you guys the same question, more from a student-athlete standpoint. You know, we know there's always questions from high school student-athletes on, you know, should I choose school A, school B, school C? Why should a student-athlete choose Wayne State?
Well, like Coach was alluding to, it's not just the football that's great here, it's also the academics. If you want to get both, then it's a perfect university. Detroit's a beautiful city. From the first time I came here to right now, things and businesses are building up, especially in the downtown area. So there's always something to do, and there's always just something to learn. So I think that'd be my advice to them.
Early in my recruitment process, I was told by my high school coach that you just want to go where you want it. And, being a guy that was, like recruited, by almost every team that's here, and, Wayne State has that brotherhood and family atmosphere. When you think of the D, like you think of, like togetherness, party and all that good stuff. And here you definitely, like get that feeling. This is probably one of the only programs that I can say that honestly, like throughout my recruitment process, they have been the exact same and did, everything that they said that they were going to do and seen for myself so far. So.
Pressure.
Yeah, exactly. So open it up for questions.
Well, I think if you look at last season and you try to put it in the past, but you look at it and say, where were we weakest? We didn't finish games. We didn't condition, we didn't do the things necessary to be a complete football team. And I think so when you look at how the summer has gone, our guys are able to condition. So that in itself is going to make us a better football team.
And Julius, I know you won the All-State AFCA Good Hands Award, or Good Works team. How much does it mean to you to be a leader, both in the locker room and in the community?
Oh, it means a lot. Just be able to affect this community that's welcomed me so warmly has just been great, and just give back with the various organizations that we've been volunteering with, not only as a football team, but as an athletic department. And also in the locker room, just to see these guys grow and to just be able to affect their lives and just have an impact has just been amazing.
And one for Myron. So you have a couple of new pieces coming onto the offensive line this year. You graduated to all conference players. What's your thought process going into a season with new linemen, and how is your guys' relationship going to be built throughout the season?
So when I played basketball, I played point guard, and my dad, and speaking of being a quarterback, my dad always told me you want to make the, from the first man on the roster to the last man on the roster, feel like they can do something. So I think the biggest thing, especially when you're filling two major roles, with Lane and Landon, leaving, I think it's key that you build the confidence and you make them feel as if they can go out there and accomplish it. Because if one thing about confidence, if you believe that you can do something, most likely you're going to do it. So.
Coach Julius talked about the proud lineage of linebackers. You got a pretty special lineage of running backs as well. How does 7 come up on that list?
Well, let me go back to the linebackers and then talk about 7. You said earlier that people will say that the least important positions are basically linebacker and running back. Well, 2 starters in the NFL from Wayne State were Anthony Pittman, linebacker, and Joique Bell, running back. So they're pretty important positions, especially for our football team. But when you talk about Myron, he broke a record that wasn't Joik's original record, or Joik had it, but Tony Davis broke it in the playoffs. We've had pretty much every year a first team or a second team all-league tailback. And, you know, Myron continues that. And the great thing about that is he has to compete. He understands what I did last year doesn't mean anything. I have Kendall Williams, I have Carmi Mackey, I have a lot of guys who are at practice every day working their rear ends off, and if I slack, they're going to play and I'm not. And him understanding that makes him a better football player. I don't think I'm going to have to say a whole lot. They can read, and they will be, you know, let's put it this way. I don't think they needed that for the motivation. I think that the motivation comes from living through what we lived through last year. And you know, you can ask these guys how hard they've worked and why they've worked so hard. And I think a lot of that has to do with you know, not wanting to be picked next to last or last in the league.
All right, Coach, I appreciate you guys, you know, being a gracious host here. Fantastic facilities. Like I said, first time in Detroit. I've been to Kalamazoo, but I hadn't been to Detroit. So off camera, I'll get good food recommendations and all that good stuff like that.
You walk anywhere and find any restaurant, and it's awesome.
That's all
You're in
hear, man.
Detroit. The food is fantastic. Just go down Woodward.
It's cooked with some soul.
Exactly. I'll be busting out this suit by the time my
There you
flight
go.
takes off. So
There
I
you go.
appreciate you guys. And thank you guys for joining us here. That wraps up the 2022 GLIAC Media Day. Be sure to follow the GLIAC on social media to keep up with more news, notes, and tidbits from around the conference.